The story opens in the intense atmosphere of St. Vincent's Hospital, where Dr. Elena Carter thrives amid chaos. The trauma room is a storm of alarms, blood, and desperate cries, yet Elena's presence commands focus and calm. Every movement is precise. She sutures, intubates, stabilizes until life returns to a dying patient. To the world, she's the embodiment of strength and control. But beneath her composed exterior lies exhaustion. As she steps out of the ER, her hands tremble. The adrenaline fades, and the weight of unspoken pain begins to settle, a foreshadowing of deeper wounds ahead. Her phone vibrates. It's a message from her husband, Mark. "Let's talk tonight. It's time." A chill runs through her, sharper than any scalpel. She's known this moment was coming, yet the finality in his words crushes her. At home, the silence is suffocating. Mark sits across from her, eyes downcast, confessing the truth: he's in love with someone else. The name hits her like a punch: Claire, a colleague she passes in the hospital corridors daily. Betrayal floods her veins like poison. The woman she trusted professionally has been entwined in her private downfall. Her perfect world cracks irreparably. Later that night, Elena drives without direction, headlights cutting through the rain. The city blurs past her as memories replay: laughter, love, betrayal, each scene tearing at her heart. She stops on a bridge overlooking the glittering skyline, the same city she's saved countless lives in. Her reflection in the dark glass of her car window feels like a stranger's. "I fix everyone," she whispers, voice breaking, "but no one even tries to fix me." In that haunting confession, her mask of strength dissolves, revealing the wounded soul behind the doctor's perfection and the start of her unraveling. Elena Carter's drive to heal others was born from heartbreak. At 12, she watched her mother die from a preventable misdiagnosis, a wound that shaped her destiny. Determined to ensure no child suffered as she had, Elena buried her pain beneath ambition. Medicine became her salvation and her identity. Mark, her college sweetheart, balanced her intensity with warmth and stability, grounding her through med school's chaos. Their love once felt unbreakable, but over time, the long shifts, emotional exhaustion, and Elena's constant need to stay composed built invisible walls. What began as devotion slowly transformed into silent emotional distance. In the present, the hospital that once symbolized Elena's purpose now mirrors her turmoil. Claire, the woman Mark betrayed her with, has just been promoted to an administrative position, sparking whispers in every corridor. Elena keeps her head high, refusing to indulge in gossip, but the sideways glances and hushed tones sting more than open confrontation. Her only refuge is the quiet empathy of Dr. Noah Bennett, a psychiatrist who sees through her practiced calm. Over late-night coffee breaks, he asks gently, "You save people, Elena, but who's saving you?" It's a question that lingers, haunting her sleepless nights haunted by betrayal and buried grief. Elena begins to question who she is beyond the white coat. The hospital's fluorescent lights, once symbols of healing, now feel like a cage. Flashbacks flicker: her younger self, full of hope, vowing to make a difference, laughing with Mark before everything fell apart. The contrast is brutal. Now she's a woman running on autopilot, disconnected from her own emotions. Every life she saves reminds her of the one she couldn't, her mother's. The guilt, exhaustion, and inability to grieve intertwine, forming the emotional battlefield where Elena must decide whether to heal herself. The storm begins when a teenage patient dies after what should have been a routine appendectomy. The hospital erupts in chaos, reporters camp outside, and whispers ripple through every department. Though Elena wasn't the lead surgeon, her name appears in the case file due to a post-op consultation note. Claire, desperate to protect her newfound promotion, subtly shifts blame toward Elena, implying negligence in her follow-up assessment. Within days, administration launches an internal review, and Elena is suspended pending investigation. Overnight, the woman once celebrated as the heart of the ER becomes the scapegoat, isolated, doubted, and publicly shamed. The betrayal cuts deeper when Mark, now entangled with Claire both professionally and personally, advises Elena to cooperate quietly for the hospital's image. His words feel like a knife. Rumors spread that she's reckless, that she cracked under pressure. Colleagues avoid eye contact. Her reputation dissolves faster than truth can defend her. In the silence of her empty apartment, She stares at her revoked hospital badge, feeling stripped of her purpose. The title doctor, once her entire identity, now feels like a crime. For the first time, Elena realizes she has no one left, not her husband, not her colleagues. As she sits alone, memories of her mother flood back, a kind nurse once accused of negligence before dying of heartbreak and illness. The eerie parallel shakes Elena to her core. History, it seems, is repeating itself. But instead of surrendering, something ignites within her. She refuses to be buried under lies. Not again, she whispers, her voice trembling but resolute. This time, she'll fight not just to clear her name, but to reclaim her dignity, her voice, her life. The personal and professional betrayals collide, transforming Elena's quiet suffering into the spark of defiance that sets her journey ablaze. The once familiar halls of St. Vincent's now feel hostile. Conversations stop when Elena walks by, even her closest friends avert their eyes. Claire flourishes in her new role, her polished smiles masking silent triumph. The hospital's legal team urges Elena to settle quietly. It's cleaner this way, they insist, but she refuses. Her moral compass won't let her accept a lie as truth. In this suffocating isolation, only Dr. Noah Bennett stands by her. He listens, challenges her denial, and helps her confront the emotional scars she's buried for years. Their bond deepens, fragile yet genuine, built on understanding. Mark appears one evening, guilt etched across his face. He offers half-hearted apologies, claiming he never meant for things to go this far. But Elena sees through him. This isn't love, it's damage control. His loyalty, once her anchor, now feels like an anchor dragging her down. Meanwhile, flashbacks of her mother's final days haunt her dreams, the exhaustion, the whispers, the blame. She recognizes the same pattern repeating, the same injustice consuming her. Yet when she visits the deceased patient's parents, expecting anger, she finds compassion instead. Their quiet forgiveness pierces her despair, lighting a small but powerful spark within. At dawn, Elena begins to run again, the same route she once took during med school to silence her doubts. Each stride becomes symbolic, a reclaiming of breath, rhythm, and purpose. The city wakes slowly as she pushes forward, the air cold but cleansing. She's still suspended, still labeled, but something inside her has shifted. For the first time, she's moving not to escape, but to rebuild. The isolation that once crushed her now steels her resolve. Beneath the pain, strength is forming, quiet, unyielding, unstoppable. The world may have turned against her, but Elena Carter is learning to rise. The tension explodes when Noah discovers a string of buried emails between Claire and the surgical team, evidence proving Claire had authorized a risky shortcut during the teenage patient's operation, then manipulated records to shift blame onto Elena. With this truth in hand, Elena finally steps out of the shadows. The hospital board hearing is packed, the air thick with curiosity and judgment. For weeks, she's been the silent scapegoat. Now, she becomes her own advocate. Dressed in calm authority, Elena lays out the facts, her voice steady but sharp, dismantling the false narrative that nearly destroyed her life. Claire's composure fractures as the truth unravels. The board members exchange uneasy glances as Noah presents the final email, the one that exposes Claire's deliberate cover-up. Elena turns to her husband, her voice trembling but resolute. "I spent my life saving others' hearts. You broke mine, but you don't get to take my integrity too." The room falls silent. Mark can't meet her eyes, his silence is its own confession. Years of suppressed pain spill out not as rage, but as clarity. In that moment, Elena reclaims her power not by vengeance, but through grace, courage, and unshakable truth. When the board finally rules in her favor, applause doesn't follow, only stunned quiet. Justice has been served, but Elena surprises everyone by tendering her resignation. "I became a doctor to heal," she says softly, "not to survive politics." Her words echo through the sterile room, heavy with liberation. Walking out, she feels the weight lift from her shoulders for the first time in years. She's free from the betrayal, from the system, from the constant need to prove her worth. The victory isn't about saving her job, it's about saving herself. Elena Carter walks away with her soul intact. In the months that follow, Elena redefines what healing truly means. She joins a small community clinic that serves underprivileged women, a place far removed from the politics and prestige of St. Vincent's. Here, medicine feels pure again, stripped of ego and bureaucracy. The patients call her Dr. Elena, not with reverence, but with gratitude. She listens more, rushes less, and finds meaning in the simplest gestures: a smile, a thank you, a heartbeat steadying beneath her palm. The work doesn't erase her scars, but it gives them purpose. For the first time, she feels useful without losing herself. Her voice, once silenced by fear, finds power in truth. Elena pens an op-ed about compassion fatigue and the emotional cost of perfectionism in medicine. It goes viral, sparking conversations across hospitals nationwide. Colleagues who once avoided her now reach out in empathy and reflection. Noah remains her steady confidant, encouraging her to rest, to feel, to live beyond her profession. Their connection deepens, still tender, built on mutual respect rather than dependence. Through his quiet support, she learns that vulnerability isn't weakness, it's the birthplace of renewal. Elena begins to reclaim the emotional depth she once sacrificed for control. One evening, Elena uncovers her old piano, long untouched since her mother's death. Dust motes dance in the warm light as her fingers hover over the keys, hesitant, then sure. The first notes tremble, imperfect but real. Music fills the room, not the sound of mastery, but of rediscovery. She smiles faintly, a fragile yet profound gesture of peace. She knows she's not healed, the past still lingers, but it no longer defines her. The melody becomes her quiet victory, a rhythm of resilience, forgiveness, and rebirth. For the first time in years, Elena Carter is simply living. The story closes where Elena's new beginning truly lives, inside the humble walls of the free clinic. One afternoon, she sits beside a young girl recovering from surgery, her small hand gripping Elena's fingers with quiet trust. The girl looks up and asks with innocent curiosity, "Are you happy, Dr. Carter?" The question catches Elena off guard. For a moment, she hesitates, reflecting on the storm she's endured, the betrayal, the loss, the rediscovery. Then she smiles, gentle and honest. "Not yet," she says softly, "but I'm learning how." It's the truest answer she's ever given, and enough. As her shift ends, Elena steps outside into a drizzle that paints the city in silver light. For once, she doesn't rush to her car or shield herself with an umbrella. The soft rain touches her face, cool and cleansing, but she isn't crying, she's breathing. Every drop feels like release, washing away the remnants of bitterness and fear. The chaos that once defined her life has quieted into something steadier, more human. She no longer needs to be perfect, only present. For the first time, Elena feels the peace that comes not from healing others, but from allowing herself to heal. As she walks away from the clinic, her reflection glimmers faintly in the wet pavement, not the haunted doctor who once broke beneath expectation, but a woman finally at peace with imperfection. Her voice, steady and filled with quiet conviction, echoes in narration, "I can't heal every heart. But I can finally take care of my own." The rain softens into mist as she disappears down the street, shoulders unburdened, gaze lifted toward the horizon. The ending isn't triumphant, but tender, a portrait of resilience. Elena's story closes not in perfection, but in profound, hard-won self-acceptance. A quiet rebirth.